Well, I have half a mind to just go back to Brian Branch for the third straight month here because he continues to move up my ranks and nobody else has got him in the stratosphere that I do. What's going on, everybody? Draft Network's Kyle Krabs, Keith Sanchez, Damian Parson, Joe Marino here, our TDN scouting staff, and we're here to pound the table for some of our favorite 2023 NFL draft prospects here out of the latest edition of the TDN 100. If you're not initiated with the TDN 100, here's how it works. Every month, everybody here puts together a top 100 ballot of their top 100 players eligible for the 2023 NFL Draft. We then average the rankings together, and it spits out our consensus rankings. The top 100 are your TDN 100 for that given month. But we also have a chance to overview each other's ballots and understand and recognize places in which some of us are higher or lower than other players. And that's what Pound the Table is all about, is giving somebody a chance to go to bat for a guy that they ranked highly relative to their colleagues here on the call. So here's hoping we get some fireworks. And looking for a bang, I'm going to go to Keith Sanchez first because I know Keith always brings the heat. So Keith, who are we pounding the table for this time around?
Oh man, KC, I gave a bit of a prelude to it. And I almost shot my shot too early, but I'm pounding the table for Travis Hodges Tomlinson, baby. I gave y'all a bit of a preview, and I'm going all in this time. And listen, like we said, we know the size concerns are there, right? But when I cut on the film, I see an explosive corner that, like they say, man, the size of the dog in the fight versus the size of the fight in the dog. And you see a guy that's willing to battle every single rep. Over the past 2 years, he's had 5 interceptions. And for this TCU team, aka Too Cold University, he's the lead dog for this team, man. He's the top guy, and I just love the skill set. And we always have these in-depth conversations, right, off camera from time to time about positional versatility, what matters, and the ability to kick this guy in that nickel and to know that you have a nickel, knowing what offenses like to do when you're talking about manipulating the middle of the field. That makes me excited to draft this guy. So, man, I'm going ahead, pound that table a little bit for Travis Hodges Tomlinson. I am not looking at the height. I'm just going to totally disregard that when it comes down to this player.
Keith watched Cordell Flock get drafted in the top 100 and said, we don't need size at the nickel, right? We're going to live in that world, and we'll see how it pays off for the New York Giants. But, Damian, I'm going to come to you next. Get a chance for you to pound the table for one of your guys from the December TDN 100.
Man, Auburn cornerback Nehemiah Pritchett, man. And you talk about a competitive, intelligent, film grinding type of player. And we talked with one of the coaches there who gave us more information on this young man, and it made me love his game more, right? Because it's great to see the things you see on tape, and then to hear from a coach that this young man put so much work in to be as detailed and thorough as possible. You love that. But he's sticky in coverage. He's physical. He's really technically sound as well. He trusts his speed. He understands pre-snap alignment, and he has incredible arm length and reach at the cornerback position. So every time I think about a corner that can play man or zone, play off, play cover 3, play cover 2. He can do a lot of different things. This young man is talented, and a lot of people don't know his name yet. But I'm going to make sure that I'll take the bullhorn and yell out Nehemiah Pritchett as much as I can.
Joe, I hope you don't have a bullhorn lying around in the background back there, but I do see some buffaloes. So bulls, buffaloes, I don't know. You got a bullhorn lying around back there or no?
I got an offensive player. We can move away from some corners
okay.
here.
I didn't know we were doing 2 videos on CBs in this cycle or not. Right. We were on pace. Go ahead, Joe. Who you got on the offensive side of the ball for us?
I'll tell you what, you think about prospects and you start to ask yourself questions about, are they a fit for every team? Well, I'll tell you what every team in the NFL wants, and that's big plays on offense. And I got a guy that can deliver those big plays. His name is Taijae Spears, a running back from Tulane. I think he's one of the most under-discussed players in this class. He's led the Green Wave in rushing each of the last 2 seasons, over 1,600 yards from scrimmage, 17 touchdowns for the AAC champion Tulane Green Wave, and he's a dynamic, explosive runner, easy acceleration and breakaway speed. Now, you're not going to confuse him as a big, bruising back, but what he does do is make it very difficult to square him up, and he maximizes his touches and really survives contact very well for a back that's not necessarily going to be this 225-pound bruiser. And, just to kind of give you some insight into that, he's averaged more than 4 yards after contact per carry, which speaks to how good his contact balance is. But the name of the game for Taijae Spears is twitch, flexibility, elusiveness, shiftiness, just being dynamic with the ball in his hands. He's got great feel. He's decisive. He hits those holes with convictions. He's got no ball security issues. If you're looking for that complimentary explosive back, check out Taijae Spears from Tulane.
Well, I have half a mind to just go back to Brian Branch for the third straight month here because he continues to move up my ranks and nobody else has got him in the stratosphere that I do. But I'm going to go off the board, Joe. I unfortunately am going to go back to the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to talk about DJ Johnson from the University of Oregon and Brandon Doorless from the University of Oregon. These are a couple of really scheme versatile, front flexible type players that the Oregon Ducks have implemented in DJ Johnson and Brandon Doorless. And both of these guys, I mean, Doorless is in my top 30. And I understand that's higher than the consensus by a good amount. But I see enough of the parallels in the ways in which DeForest Buckner has success at the NFL level and Eric Armstead has success at the NFL level. He's not quite that stature of a player, but he's got the same kind of skill set to play inside and outside. And you turn on the Oregon defense tape, and you're going to see Doorless, and you're going to see DJ Johnson, who's a little bit more of a true stand-up off-the-edge type player, but is somebody I do think can put his hand in the ground at about 260 pounds. Those two guys, I think, project very favorably because they have a role to fill for everybody, regardless of whether you run a penetration front, you want to run a gap control front, you want to run an odd front, you want to run an even front, you want to get into your sub-package looks. They have the athletic versatility to be able to live in that world with consistency. And that, for me, is enough for me to really gravitate towards them in this pre-draft process. And I'm expecting both of these guys, be it through all-star games or athletic testing, to showcase themselves very well and kind of put the exclamation point as guys who were not just staple players for the Oregon Ducks in the front, but they're also players who are plus athletes to go with that versatility. And if you're able to check those kinds of boxes, what you're ultimately going to get is guys that get drafted based on the potential as well as what they've been able to put out on the tape. And as Keith Sanchez said, tape don't lie, right? It's all in there in the tape. So I'm pounding the table for both DJ Johnson from Oregon and Brandon Doorless, a couple of players in that front seven. That is going to do it for this edition of the Pound the Table discussion as it pertains to the TDN 100. Make sure you visit thedraftnetwork.com for the full TDN 100. You can get a look at all of the rankings and all the players who made the cut. Make sure you like this video, hit subscribe to the channel, click the bell. You'll get the notifications for all of our videos that drop, not just TDN 100 related, but we are here to take this journey with you through the NFL draft process, the off season, to make sure from an NFL draft, a college football, and an NFL perspective, you got everything you need. So make sure you come on back and see us again soon. Thanks for watching.